Well, hello everyone, and today we have a very special video because it has been, well, plus a couple of days, 2 whole years since we started this YouTube channel. And as with what I did last year, I wanted to take a little bit of a view at the channel, how things have gone, how we've grown over the past year, and compare some of those stats to the video that we did about this time last year. Now, I am changing things up because last year I did line this up with a Tetris talk. I've changed up the format of when I'm doing those Tetris talks to keep them a little more consistently. So today we're just going to have some classic Donkey Kong Country footage going on in the background. And I'm not looking for a lot of commentary here. It's a game that I have some fond and some tragic memories of playing while growing up, and so I'm not the best player at it by all means, but it's still a fun game to me, and it's free if you, free if you pay the Nintendo Online subscription of $20 a year. So comparatively, it's pretty nice to be able to play this particular title. So let's start by looking at a couple of items that I really like highlighting because the statistics are very interesting to me. At the time of recording this video last year, we were at 175 subscribers, and that's decent growth over a first-year channel, and I've talked about this in a couple of my videos. I think a lot of the issue with my channel and how long it's taking to really help it to grow is the fact that I am mainly focusing on a game that's fairly obsolete, and the other games that I play, mainly Minecraft to be specific, have a very saturated content on YouTube, so it takes a little bit of time to get up and going with those types of videos, either oversaturation or games that don't have a lot of attention in general. However, I am pleased to report that we way overshot the growth that we had in the first year and a lot of the metrics that I had speculated in that video from last year as well. At the time of the 2-year anniversary, we had gained an additional 789 subscribers, which brings us to the 965 at the time of recording. Of course, that's higher at the time that you are watching this video, and we are very rapidly closing in on that 1,000 subscriber milestone, which is crazy to me. I had hoped to have hit that by this time this year, but I'll take a couple of extra weeks to get us there, and we will get there. So if you are not subscribed and you're watching this video, please do. It really helps out, and there's a lot of awesome variety content coming to you that I am excited to continue to provide into the 3rd year of this channel. And you better believe that there's going to be a lot of fun things coming down the pipeline over the next couple of weeks, let alone the next year. Another comparison that we do want to draw is the comparative 365-day views. Now, in the first year of the channel, we had 29.9 thousand, or almost 30,000 views in the course of those 365 days, and we had more than 5 times the increase of views over the past 365 days, which is almost 360,000 views. The actual factual number is 158.3 thousand, and that is really awesome as well, as I was only expecting to see about double, but it's grown very significantly, and there's a couple of reasons that we'll touch on later on in the video as to why that's the case. In terms of watch hours in that first year, we collected 1.5 thousand watch hours, which is fine, but it didn't meet the requirements for the monetization, which, again, once we have 1,000 subscribers, we will be able to submit the channel to be reviewed for that eligibility. But in this past year, we netted 8.5 thousand watch hours, which is more than double the minimum requirement for that. And that number is only going to keep increasing as we continue into the upcoming years of the channel. In general, the channel at this point in time is averaging over 500 views per day. and that is up from the 120 to 160 views per day that we were getting at about this time last year. So a very significant amount of growth there as well. And the current record for highest views in a 24-hour period across the channel is 930 views in a single day. That's an awesome number, and I'm confident that by this time next year we will have videos or days where we have over 1,000 views in one particular time frame. I'm hoping that we can have a day that has a couple thousand views in a single day, but we'll just kind of have to see what that statistic looks like in a year's time, and it'll be really cool to see how that continues to scale and ramp over the coming years. The top 3 countries that view my channel, they changed very slightly from last year. We still have the majority of views coming from the US, with almost 60% of those views coming from the States, which makes sense because that's where I reside and that's where a lot of the gaming content that I provide comes from. But there's also a fair number of viewers from the UK as well as India. India actually just barely edged out Canada for that top 3 country slot. And I know that some of these numbers can be a little bit fudged because this is where a lot of the VPN things can pop up, but I prefer to think of it as having an audience from many different types or areas around the globe. So let me rattle off a couple of countries, or the other countries that I have statistics for, in order of how frequent I have viewership from these countries. And I'm not going to list off the percentages because some of them are fairly low, but I think it's cool just to kind of speculate on where those views are coming from. So we have Canada, who just barely missed out on the top 3 this year. We have the Philippines, Australia, Brazil, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Indonesia, Germany, France, Mexico, the Netherlands, Thailand, Italy, Singapore, Switzerland, Japan, Spain, Ukraine, Malta, Romania, Nepal, Finland, Puerto Rico, Greece, Russia, Kazakhstan, South Korea, Bangladesh, Czechia, Ireland, New Zealand, Vietnam, South Africa, and Montenegro. And I think that just the sheer amount of expanse and reach that you can obtain on YouTube is absolutely incredible. So that's really fun to see some of those figures as well. And just to see, I mean, there's views coming in from places that I will never visit. Not because I don't want to, but because there's just a limitation on being able to travel. And I don't see myself traveling to extensive parts of the world in the future, but we'll just kind of have to see what happens later on. One can never tell and rule things out. So we'll keep an eye on where the viewership is coming from at the very least. There was a couple of changes with the viewership and where the views are coming from in terms of what people are viewing my videos on. The majority, again, is still mobile, as that's where most people will watch YouTube videos in this day and age. Over half of the views come from mobile, being 51%. But computers actually did move up into the second place. They weren't in the top 3 last year, with computers being almost 20% at 19.7% of the people who view my videos watching from a computer, and then tablets having a very healthy share as well at 14.1%. So for the most part, the viewing experience is from mobile platforms, but there is a decent amount of individuals who are watching from computers as well. The vast majority of people watching my videos is still male, with 87% of my viewership being male in gender, at least as far as YouTube is able to gauge those metrics. They don't have any options apart from male and female at this point in time. Maybe they'll change that later on to reflect the various different gender identities that are present in today's society. So if that is something that's added on down the line, it'll be interesting to see. But for now, we just have the 2. So that's where that statistic lies. The views by age range has remained fairly consistent, with the majority of those who view My content being in the 25 to 34 age, which fits in with where I fall in that demographic. 35.3% of my views come there, with a very close second being in the 18 to 24 range. Those individuals making up for 34.6% of that viewer base. And then that third category is in the age range of 35 to 44, which is 23.6% of my viewership, which is really cool. So here is where we are going to get into the cold, hard data of this last year and look at the top 10 videos, or the videos that have performed in the top 10 over the last year. And then we will go ahead and look at the top 10 videos in the channel's lifetime as well. So coming in at number 10 from last year is a video that I dropped on April Fool's Day of this year, and it's caught a decent amount of attention. I still get a lot of views on this video and comments that roll in with people weighing in on their opinions, which I really like. It's the Ultimate Alliance 4 speculation video, where I kind of ripped into a very lazily contrived fan article. And I will probably at some point release a video with my thoughts regarding Ultimate Alliance 4, because I do think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to come down the pipeline a lot quicker than Ultimate Alliance 3 did compared to Ultimate Alliance 2. And assuming that the title stays with the same development studio, which I really hope it does for continuity's sake, there's a lot of really interesting things that we could see in that sequel and continuation to the series. Coming in at number 9 is a farm for Minecraft that I conceptualized. It's not the most popular farm design for the 1.17 version of Minecraft, and we'll see a better example of that later on this list. But the automatic glowberry farm is still a really cool concept, so if you haven't watched that video and you do play Minecraft, and that's part of the reason you're here, I would recommend you check that out if you haven't done so already. Coming in at number 8 is a video from very early in the channel's life cycle, and that is back from October of 2019, a spotlight video that I did on Scarlet Witch. And I feel like this one has maintained a lot of attention because Disney Plus had a new series that they released, which drew a lot of attention to Scarlet Witch, and people wanted to learn more about her. I wish that she was better within the scope of Ultimate Alliance 3. But as she currently stands and will likely stand for the sake of the game, she is, in my opinion, the worst character in there, which is really sad because she is such an awesome, powerful character canonically, and she just got absolutely shafted in terms of power and functionality in Ultimate Alliance 3. The number 7 slot, again, goes to a video that's a little bit older. It's from year 1 of the channel, just before the 2-year anniversary. And that was a video that I did in the survival Let's Play series that I was doing with Minecraft for a while in a vanilla setting. And that covered how one can use a conduit to raid an ocean monument. Now that's not as relevant in today's day and age because with the update to 1.16, a lot of changes were made to AFK fish farming, which was the best way to get your hand on Nautilus shells. And now Nautilus shells are a lot more grindy to get, having to use the Wandering Trader or drowned farms, which can be tedious to set up. So not as relevant anymore, but still a really cool concept of a video in my opinion. Coming in at number 6, we still have some more Minecraft. This video, again, is from last year, a couple weeks after the previous video, actually, with speculation on what you can do to get rid of a lot of your netherrack that you accumulate from mining for ancient debris. And this really plays into the underutilized nether bricks and red nether bricks, in my opinion, and being able to turn those resources into bricks so you can incorporate them in different build palettes. You're going to be accumulating a lot more of it than you otherwise normally would. Now that ancient debris is highly sought after, so why not get something out of it in the meantime? Coming in at number 5, we have another video from just before the end of the first year, and that is the character spotlight for Thanos Infinite, a very powerful character that has defined the speedrunning meta of Ultimate Alliance 3, to be sure. He is a stupidly overpowered character, and in a couple of months we will be doing the ranked and reviewed version of this character, and I'm really excited to jump into how he works in a lot more detail, so those who are new to the game or trying to figure out how to best utilize him can have a couple of tools up their sleeve. The number 4 slot is more Minecraft, and this again goes back to the changes that were made in 1.16 in some recommendations what you should do with your first netherite ingot. I still believe in my suggestion that's posited in this video where the lodestone is a very underutilized and incredibly useful tool. I get a ton of comments on this video saying that you should just use the coordinates, but I personally don't like having that massive debug screen clogging up my overview. So having a lodestone really helps me focus and be more immersed within the game itself. So I will continue to hold on to that opinion, though people are going to disagree because it's an opinionated topic, and sometimes that's what you have to do in order to get the views. The number 3 video is the other farm concept that I made, and this one has really taken off since the full release of 1.17. It's no surprise that it's here in the top 3, despite being released earlier this year, just in March. And that goes through my personal design of a concept that turns skeletons from a skeleton spawner into strays and being able to farm some of those stray drops using the new powdered snow mechanics. Powdered snow is a little bit tedious to farm in 1.17, but in the upcoming 1.18 update, it's going to be a lot easier to acquire because it will generate naturally in addition to being collected via cauldrons. So I expect this video to continue to do well into the future. The number 2 video is one that I knew would be on here, and this is the top video from my first year of how to unlock the characters that are free, the characters you don't have to pay for in Ultimate Alliance 3. It has continued to pull in very consistent views, and it's doing very, very well even to this date, and will continue to do so because it falls into that evergreen content category. And I think that it's still very informative, though if I were redoing that video today, there would certainly be some changes that I would make to it. And the number 1 video from this past year is the sister video to the number 2 video, which is how to unlock all of the paid DLC characters. And there's a lot more characters to go through there, and again, falls into the evergreen category of content. And that one is still pulling in more views consistently, though it has taken a little bit of a backseat to that skeleton spawner stray farm concept video in recent days. It's just very pertinent to the channel and what I've built up the majority of my viewer base from. We're going to rattle through the top 10 videos of all time a lot quicker, mainly because there's a lot of repeats on here, and I've gone into depth about the ones that really needed to be focused on. It's just interesting to see the difference in views that are posited here. So the number 10 spot is Ultimate Alliance 3. It's a crystal video, and that's again from the first year. There's the Invisible Woman video from that same series. You see the Scarlet Witch video, which we covered a little bit earlier, and again, that's the one that has pulled in more views from that series, save with the exception of one. We still have the Conduit Ocean Monument Raid video, the Netherrack video, the Thanos Infinite Character Spotlight video, the Netherite Ingots, the Skeleton Spawner, and then the 2 how to unlock all characters, both of the paid and free variety. You will notice that the top 2 positions have flipped, and that's sheerly due to the fact that the Unlocking All Free Characters video came out first, and so it had a significant head start. But you will see that the paid DLC video is quickly catching up to that, and hopefully will at least break even, if not surpass it, because I'm a lot happier with the quality of that video than I am the earlier one, though they're both good and informative. The last item I wanted to address very, very quickly was the channel milestones that we were able to complete this last year. The biggest one that I'm going to mention is the fact that we have 4 of the 5 speedrun records for Ultimate Alliance 3. We had all 5 of them at any point in time, but I'm currently missing the New Game Plus category. I am working to grind that one back out because my goal for this calendar year is to be the owner of all single-player speedrun records for Ultimate Alliance 3. I know I can take that time back. I'm just grinding up the right resources to get some incredible time saves, and I'm looking forward to streaming that as well as sharing that with you. But that's going to do it for today. If you have not done so already and you're this far into the video, make sure that you subscribe, because there's a lot of really awesome things that I'm working on and I'm looking forward to share with you in the coming year. And if you haven't had a look at the description of my video, there you can find a link to my Twitch as well as my Twitter. If you give me a follow on both of those locations as well, that would be greatly appreciated. But I'm going to sign off and hope that you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. And here's to the next 365 days before we do this video again. Take care, everyone.